Hey everybody, it's Dr. Mike Young, chiropractor, energy worker here in Nashville, Tennessee. Today we're going to be covering self-healing of the head, and we're going to break it down into a couple of parts. First, we're going to go over noticing what you don't want in the head. This is any symptoms, headaches, tension, injuries, areas that might have had some sort of damage from a stroke, jaw tension, anything that you don't want in the head that you would like to change and be better. That's the first part. We're going to go over noticing that and how to get curious about it. After that, we're going to do step 2, which is learning how to fill the space of the head. And I don't mean the mind, I mean the physical head. We're going to learn how to fill the space of the head with positive energy and what you do want, okay? After we put those two together and practice them fluidly in one exercise, that's going to take you from a state of having and feeling what you don't want to a state of self-healing on your way to feeling amazing in the head region, okay? So here we go. Let's start off with the first step, which is to simply notice what we don't want. And oftentimes this step is already done because the body's already giving us signals in the form of a headache, in the form of feeling foggy, or in the form of tightness, jaw tension, whatever it is, the body gives us that signal. If we don't already have a signal and we want to practice this exercise, we can just do a scan from top of the head to the bottom with our attention and notice any area of dis-ease or of any symptoms or sensations that we would like to change. Okay, so if I do that now, I just feel some tension right in through the sides of the temples. That's what I'm going to use. Okay, you use whatever you like and whatever you want to heal, whatever your body shows you. Okay, that's the noticing phase. Pretty easy for most of us, especially if we're not in the habit of ignoring our bodies or immediately using a pill or rubbing it out or trying to get away from it. We're going to notice without resisting, okay? And that leads us into the next step, and that is to get curious. Now, one of the most common things to do when we notice something we don't like is to push it away or to run away from it. So we take a pill or we ignore it or we pretend it's not there. And so as Carl Jung taught us and many other teachers have taught us is what you resist persists. Okay, so if you simply ignore it or try to get away from it or push it away or use a drug or something else to disconnect from it, it's going to ultimately grow bigger, okay? Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to notice it. We're not going to resist. We're going to get curious. And in order to get curious with this exercise, what we're going to do is we're just going to notice a couple of different aspects of it that we haven't noticed before. So as I do this with this tension I felt in around the temples and above the ears, is I'm going to go there with my attention and I'm just going to notice, oh, what's that like? Wow, it almost feels like it's pushing forward on one side and back on the other. I'm going to trust it as soon as I notice it, and I invite you also to trust it as soon as you notice it. Your first inclination is the right inclination for this exercise, okay? So as I notice that, I also notice, oh, it kind of seems a little metallic and it has a squeeze that comes down like this. Now you might notice things like, oh, it feels like a dark energy or dark color, or it feels foggy, it has a taste to it. It doesn't matter what you notice. What matters is that you notice an aspect of it that you hadn't noticed before and that you accepted immediately. And even if you question yourself because you're in the habit potentially of needing to see evidence or being very analytical, even if you question, well, is that real? Hey, for the exercise, it is real. We're practicing trust as we notice these things. So we notice and we get curious. Does this make sense? I hope this is making sense and sounding easy to you. If it's not easy, at least I want it to be simple, and as you practice it, it will become easy, I promise. So there we go. We notice and we get curious, okay? That's it for step 1. It's that easy, okay? Now, step 2 is to fill with positive energy. Okay? Now where step 1, we were noticing contraction, tension, things we didn't want. I'm going to draw that like a bunch of little knots. It's kind of chaotic. It doesn't feel good. We're wanting to have a different experience. When we're going to fill with positive energy, we're going to draw that out as something more like this, a little star, smiley face. We'll put a heart there, exclamation point, wow, ah, okay? We're gonna find some energy that represents that to us, okay? Now, here's something that's worked great for a lot of my clients in the past that works great for me. In the head, what we find, and I'm not talking about the mind, I'm talking about the physical head. In the head, an energy that inhabits there and tends to be there is an innocent, joyful energy of childlike nature, okay? So if you can go to something that would make your inner child, or if you can't tap into that because of some trauma that you've had, think of what would make a child that you know feel joyful. I used to use a picture of a dolphin that just looked so amazingly joyful. It's like it had this smile on its face. It said pure joy to me. One of my clients used the image and the feeling of her as a 6-year-old going on a merry-go-round and just feeling that bliss and that all-encompassing, overwhelming feeling of joy and happiness. Whatever is for you, go ahead and use it. It might be a song, it might be a color, it might be a painting, whatever brings you an innocent, childlike joy, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to use our attention to get inside of the head. So we're just noticing on the inside of this structure, and we're inserting and feeling and focusing on that joyous feeling and energy. So right now, as I do this, I'm filling with that dolphin image in my head and the feeling associated with it. So I'm feeling this joy just infiltrate my head and fill it up. And you'll know you're on the right track if you start breathing and smiling, and perhaps there's a little bit of motion there. It's going to look different for everybody, but it sure feels good. Okay, so this might take a little practice. For some of you, it'll be so easy. You'll be able to do it right off the bat. If it doesn't feel easy, just repeat until it feels easy. Okay, this is a natural state. For some of us, we'll have to repeat until we're back to it. Okay, it took me a while to get there, and so we just keep going until we do. Okay, so the second stage is to fill with positive, loving energy that you really like. Now, seems really, really simple, and it is really simple. There's a couple of tricks and a couple of catches that, because of our programming and because of tendency to move away and push away from things we don't like, that we need to watch out for. So one of them is, when we get noticing curious, is not to resist it. We already covered that, and to get curious about it. Once we've gotten a few aspects of it and we've gotten curious and we've learned a little something about it, that's it. We leave it. This is trick number 2 here. We're only going to give this 10 to 20% of our attention. Okay? Any more than that, and we can start to dwell on it. And if we dwell on it, it grows. If we resist it, it grows. If we dwell on it, it grows. We want to be in the sweet spot in between. We noticed it, we witnessed it, we were curious about it. Got it. Done. That's all it needed. Just like a child that needs a little witnessing of their tantrum or of their anger or if they're not getting what they want. They do need to be witnessed and acknowledged, but they don't need that to be the ongoing experience, okay? So we notice it, we're curious about it for 10 to 20%, okay? That's this stuff, the tension, the unwanted feelings, the headache, the jaw, whatever it is for us. Okay, from there, we move right down into fill with this positive energy. So we've forgotten about this. We don't even have to think about this for the second half here. All we do is fill the head with this loving, positive energy. This time I'm using the imagery of a little child on a merry-go-round going around. It just fills my whole head. I feel it more opening on this side first and then moving into the other side. And I just feel it's like I'm reclaiming my space with this positive, joyous energy. And of course, you'll get better and better at it as you go. And now, here's what happens, okay? We're going to go through the whole thing. We covered step 1 and step 2. Once we've done it a few times, we can move from step 1 to step 2 rather quickly, okay? So let's go through the whole thing. First, noticing, okay? Your body oftentimes will tap you on the shoulder or tap you on the head in this case to get your attention. Let's say there's a headache there, okay? Let's say there's a headache here and you also notice some tension in the back of your head. Wow, those are probably related. Got it. Wow, okay. It feels, and we're going to get curious. What is it about that? Even though the tendency might be to push it away or take a pill, not yet, not now. Right now we're getting curious. Oh, it feels like it's twisty right up there over my knot. It feels like a hot needle. Wow, this takes a little discipline to be curious. Got it. And then moving into this, oh, okay, there's a squeeze in the back of the head here. That's really strange. There's an orange color to that. Okay, got it. Trust it. Done. It's already gotten 10 to 20% of my attention. It's time to move down. That's the trick here, is knowing when to step. And you'll get better and better at that. So move right on down. We're going to fill with positive energy. And maybe for you, this is imagery of being on a roller coaster and having your hands in the air and the wind blowing in your face, or having your head out the car window when you're a little kid and just enjoying that feeling, whatever it is. Even if you need to use the imagery with someone else because you had trauma in your past, doesn't matter. Find the joy, find a way to get it in, find a way to let it in. There we go. So moving through that and loving it and hanging with that, giving it 80 to 90% of your attention. Okay? Taking your time, breathing. Yes, oh, feels good. Enjoy it. Breathing in, savor it. Lovely energy. Yes, okay, good. And then really, really feeling it. I have a feeling some of you are really, really getting into this there at home. So just keep going. Give yourself the sincere process. Nobody is watching. Nobody is making fun of you. And so here we go. Yes, and you just continue to go and go and go and go. Oh yeah, and if you happen to have an old habit of popping back up here, just return back down until you're used to staying down in the feeling with positive energy, the wow, the goodness. After a while, the images don't make that much difference and you can just feel the actual energy. And so there we go. And then what happens is, what most people notice is a loosening, even sometimes a complete disappearance of what's here, a release of energy as this opens up and turns into something else, perhaps something positive, and this fills, and we get this, oh wow, neat, great feeling in through the head. So that's it, folks. Notice, get curious. 10 to 20%, filled with positive energy, 80 to 90% in the physical region of the head, to get yourself from a mode of dis-ease and tension and symptoms into a self-healing mode. Sometimes this might just loosen a little, sometimes it might heal instantly, okay? Repeat the process, practice over and over again. This is practicing feeling good. When you feel good and alive and well, you're a magnet for great things in your life. People want to be around you. Things just tend to happen well for you, okay? I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it makes a big difference for you. If you like this, you might like my book, Finder's Guide. You can find that on Amazon.com. You can find it on my website, Dr. Within. Please leave comments in the comments section below. If you have any questions or ideas for another topic, let me know. I'd love to share anything I can with you. Have an awesome day.